Yo, how's it going?
Hi, it's going good.
The end of the
You?
week. Doing good, doing good. Alright. Cool. So we are also live on YouTube. What I kind of want to start doing instead of just doing like random sessions and starting over, with every simulation session, I think it might be fun, even, with everyone who's joining on YouTube. If we kind of save the simulation sessions that we do and then keep going from there and see how much, we can grow our account and things like that. So that's what we're going to do. I picked a random date as of last year, so then we have, a few months that we can keep, doing this for. And then also, my goal is hopefully people can see, with realistic market conditions, how we're growing the account, how we're doing our risk management. When we were doing simulation sessions last time, even within the group, there were some questions about no trade days. What do you usually do, and how do you identify if it's going to be a trade day or not? Just coming from the conversations that we were having in the group itself, about basically me saying that, at this point, after being, trading for so many years, I usually come onto the charts and I can tell within like the first 15, 20 minutes or so if it's going to be a trade day or not for me. And so there are questions surrounding that. So I thought, why not just kind of start this, series, so to speak, where we're growing the account together, and we'll have one separately and when we're doing the weekly simulation sessions here on YouTube, and then we'll have another one like for our group as well. I know I just started the series with crypto, for example, that you guys are going to be following along. So hopefully, the goal is to answer as many questions as possible when it comes to these things, and if there's anything else that you guys want to particularly go over, then we can do that as well. But this should hopefully cover any technical analysis, fundamental analysis, understanding market sentiment, trade days, no trade days, risk management, all that good stuff. So let's
Yeah,
go
that's
ahead.
pretty much what I'm doing on my own with GJ.
Yeah,
I legit started with 100 just to see like, can I really grow this,
yeah. How's that going?
Well, at first, remember when we had our one-on-one, that was frustrating. I kept hitting stop loss after stop loss after stop loss because I kept getting wicked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finally got like one good trade, and that was the one I talked about this morning, I think, where I
Mhm.
had to wait from Monday all the way to Wednesday.
Oh, perfect. It's a good experience, honestly. Like that's how you're really gonna like learn. Just going through these simulation sessions and really treating it as much as you can like a live account, because as soon as you start a live account, that's when all the emotions come into play, especially when like your own money is on the line. So if you can get everything else in order, the only thing that you really have to
Yeah.
combat at that time is your emotions.
Yeah, I actually caught myself this morning when I took my first trade
Mm-hmm.
of the year. I was like, hey, like just remember, what did this feel like in the
Yeah.
simulation? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. And everyone that's following along on YouTube, feel free to put in the chat if you guys want to take trades with us, in the simulation session. So if you're new here, the way that it works is basically we do a top-down analysis. I will be asking questions along the way just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. If there's any confusion, if there's anything that I need to explain again, and I'll ask when I'm jumping into a trade. I'll say like, okay, I'm going to take a trade here. I'll give you my entire playbook, basically my entire thought process while I'm about to take a trade. And if you want to hop in and take a trade with us, drop into the chat, I want to take an entry, where your stop loss is going to be, where your take profit is going to be, and things like that. I will pause for a little bit after asking that question because there's obviously a bit of a lag, um, you know, compared to by the time you guys are going to get this information basically on YouTube, there's like a 30-second or so lag. So you guys will have enough time. So just beware, like if you're going to come back and kind of watch the simulation sessions, just so you're not getting bored waiting there for like, the silence and stuff like that. Alright, we're going to start off with the weekly time frame. So this series, again, we're going to do US30. That's mainly what I trade along with gold, GJ, and then there's a couple of different pairs as well. Usually when we're doing simulation sessions, I'll ask, like, what do you guys want to trade? But I think this is the same strategy that you're going to apply regardless of whatever you're trading. It could be GJ, it could be, GBP USD, it could be gold, it could be anything. Essentially, it's the same exact technical analysis, same exact strategies that I use and apply across all different assets. So it should be quite simple. Let's start off with the weekly time frame. So the very first thing that we're going to take a look at is what is the market structure. So just zooming out here a bit, what does that market structure look like for you guys? Do you think it's bullish, bearish? Are we consolidating? Are we sitting at all-time highs? What does this look like for you guys? Even here on Zoom, feel free to just unmute and say it. Bullish, yeah. We are pushing bullish here. So we had that massive liquidity right here back in 2020. We know when the Fed was pretty much pumping into the markets, we have a nice bullish momentum. Are we sitting at all-time highs? Are we making higher highs? Feel free to annotate as well. Basically, what is going on with the current market conditions? Where is price sitting at?
All-time highs.
All-time highs, yep. So we're sitting at all-time highs. We're looking at the overall price action. As you can see, nothing really to the left here. And then looking at the most recent price action. So now my focus, I have first identified what's the market structure, so I know that when I'm dropping down to lower time frames, and whether you're someone who's looking for a scalp, turning that into a swing trade, or someone who just swing trades, this is something that you want to keep in the back of your mind as you're dropping down to lower time frames. A lot of the times, when you drop down to lower time frames, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, the structure could be a little bit different. It could be short-term bearish, but you want to keep in the back of your mind what's the overall structure, because that's what you want to be trading with if you want to turn your scalp into a swing trade. So going for the next few days or a couple of weeks and things like that. So as of right now, we're in a bullish structure. We're sitting at all-time highs. So we know that there's going to be two things happening here. The market, as soon as it hits all-time lows or all-time highs, it's going to have to collect orders. What are the two ways that the market uses to collect orders?
Either it ranges or there's a correction in terms of retracement.
Exactly. So when it's ranging, what is that basically telling you? So if price is pushing right now bullish and is just consolidating, what is that telling you in terms of the volume in the market and the investor, push? Basically, what's happening? The investor sentiment.
You mean like when it's collecting orders?
Yeah, when
Like,
it's just consolidating, what does that tell you about the investor volume at that moment?
That it's died down and they need to collect orders.
It's died down and that it's collecting orders, but also when it's consolidating at those all-time highs, what that tells you is that there's a ton of bullish momentum to the upside, and we don't have enough sellers in the market where they can take profits, or that the sellers can help with that corrective move back down, right? So in that time being, what we're going to see instead is consolidation, and then when price breaks out of that consolidation, you're going to see a ton of volume to the upside. So usually for that corrective move, obviously you need sellers, you need some profit taking happening in the market. But when it's just consolidating at those all-time highs or all-time lows, that tells you that we don't have enough pressure on the opposite end for that corrective move. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. So now what we're going to do is actually mark up some levels. So right now we're sitting in that consolidation area. What we have is that bottom wick rejection, as you guys can see here, with the current weekly candle. So right around here, that's where pretty much the lowest that price went during this time frame, during this 1 week weekly candle. And then that's also the resistance for this little bit of weak bullish and bearish closures right before price push back up. Now the next thing that I'm going to mark off is going to be that top wick rejection. So this is going to be my range for this week when I'm looking for scalp opportunities, when I'm looking for day trade opportunities, basically saying that this is the highest that price went as of right now, and that's the lowest that price went right now. So as price gets closer to these areas, I want to be extra careful when I'm looking for a trading opportunity, because those are very strong levels, right? Higher the time frame, the stronger these levels are going to be. Let's go ahead and drop down to the daily time frame and pretty much do the same thing. We're still in a bullish structure. We had a lot of consolidation here, but once price broke past it, we created those new highs. We consolidate once again as we're reaching those new all-time high levels, and that tells you that again there was so much bullish momentum here that we really need to collect orders, but we didn't have enough sellers in the market for that corrective move back down. So once again, that's the same exact thing that we're doing as of right now. We're going to dissect more these candlesticks and their anatomy basically. So here what we had was price tapping into these highs. Instead of creating a zone, I'm going to just do this annotation here. So we had price pretty much holding on to that resistance at these all-time highs. We had those massive top wick rejections, which is pretty much price telling you that, okay, this is the entire range that we have yet to come back and fill. And then we had those top wick rejections here once again. We kept closing at that area, started getting wick rejections, started getting some more candle closures, a little bit of more profit taking, but not enough where we can see those massive pullbacks on higher time frames on the weekly and the daily. Instead, we're just keeping a bullish momentum. We're still maintaining those higher highs and higher lows, even here within that consolidation. Price is still going to tell you where is it headed. So as of right now, what we have done is held on to a support right into that level. The current daily candle has broken, or the previous one here, seems like it broke the highs and the lows. That tells me that there's a lot of volatility within that. When we drop down to lower time frames, we're potentially going to see a lot of consolidation being formed, a lot of highs and lows being broken, and things like that. That's the type of candle when you drop down to the 15 and 30 minute that you don't want to be taking an entry on. That's indecision in the market. You only want to be taking entries on candles that only break the highs or only break the lows, right? And so as of right now, even on the daily time frame, we have a minor zone pretty much of price respecting this resistance area right around here. So when we take a look at this, we have those top wick rejections, we have those wick rejections here once again. We get some candle closures, but then we get that sell-off to come back and test structure. Wick rejections here once again, same thing, wick rejections. A lot of rejections basically happening here. So if we're going to look for any buy opportunities, we want to make sure that we're waiting for proper break and retest in these areas prior to a continuation back up. So the reason why that we're looking for buy opportunities right now is because the overall structure is still bullish. The only way that I'm going to look for any sells here is only if I'm looking for a scalp and I understand that this is the limitation of my trade. I'm not going to be looking for a sell somewhere down here and hoping that it breaks the low and I cash like a massive push down. The market has not given me any sort of indications. The price action has not given me any sort of indications for those longer term sells yet. All I see right now is that even with that indecision, we closed bullish and we're respecting this resistance area right into that area, into that zone. So what I'm going to wait for is a proper break and retest in either direction and then look for my entries. But as of right now, if we're looking for any swing trade opportunities, we know that we're looking for potential buy opportunities here first. So I'm going to create that zone right around here, and I'm going to bring this in a bit more, right around there. So that's the level that I want price breaking above, and then I can look for those buying opportunities to the upside. The first target is going to be this 38,900, and then we'll see if we have a continuation there, or are we just going to reject that and then come back down, mimicking some of these wick rejections here. You come on to the 4-hour time frame. What are we seeing here? Zoom out a bit more, still in that bullish momentum to the upside. There is parts of consolidation forming here, so that bullish momentum to the upside. You do see consolidation basically right into these areas, some more consolidation being formed here, some more consolidation here. So we had that top candle body closures right here, rejecting right into that 38,900. We pull back a little bit. We're still respecting these areas here with those wick rejections. So what we want to see is, can this next candle keep pushing back up bullish? What I am going to do though, as we drop down to lower time frames, depending on what session we are in. So 000, that's a London session. I am going to skip to London and New York. That's the session that we trade usually anyway. So I'm going to try to keep it as realistic as possible according to how we usually trade in the markets, instead of just randomly trading any random session here. So coming on to the 4-hour once again, that's the same exact levels. There's really not anything else I would mark off. Nothing stands out here. Coming on to the hourly, we do start to see a little bit of slowdown in volume. We're not breaking all the way down. It does seem like we have some slowdown in volume with the candle body closures. There's still some good volume, but we're really not breaking any other highs or lows here. Same thing on the 30 and 15. So now what I'm going to do is skip over to London and New York overlap, so get over to almost 5 o'clock here. That is usually when we would be coming onto the charts. So around here at 5 o'clock, that's right at New York and London open. So we're going to start this here. And then I'm also going to take a look at news. So high impact news for Canada, not so much from the US. We don't really have much else coming out from the US, so I wouldn't be too worried. I think if we're going to be looking for any sort of moves, it will probably be mostly just technical analysis here. Then we have CPI going into London session for the following day, but let's see how today plays out first. So tomorrow is going to be FOMC, so interest rates coming out. We're sitting at that 5.5%. We're projecting that we're going to maintain those interest rates. So that's going into tomorrow. As of today, there's not much else coming out from a technical or from a fundamental perspective, so it seems like we have purely technical moves here. Come on to the daily. We had that top wick right there. We're still not breaking any highs and lows. We're kind of just hanging around this area. So that's why we're not looking for a trade just yet. What I want to see is if price is going to push in either direction, we're going to wait for a proper break and retest. If price is sitting within consolidation, I like to wait for a break and retest instead of impulsive moves. If price is breaking out of a consolidation where it's not sitting within that consolidation zone like it is right now, if it's breaking out of it, then I would entertain any sort of impulsive moves, especially if it's a market open or there's some high impact fundamentals that are coming out. So as of right now, it seems like we're kind of just hanging around here. We don't have enough momentum to break in either direction just yet. So same thing, I'm going to wait for price to pretty much see if it's going to respect this area, and are we going to see a similar move as this, or are we going to push and break some of the levels here. So you have that nice push down here. Even on the hourly, you get nice top wick rejections, bottom wick rejection, and you start to see that the volume is starting to die down here a little bit. So we do want to be careful, because this is where if you're looking for a trade, then you need to understand what's the limitation of your trade. It could be simply something like this, where price is just retracing, and then your limitation of your trade is really just coming into this level here. If you guys need me to slow down and explain something again, or if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. If you're on Zoom, unmute and ask, and I'd be more than happy to explain again. So this candle here broke the highs and lows. That's another indecision. It seems like we're kind of just holding on to this little support area here. Like right into that area, it seems like. So what I want to see now is looking for a scalp opportunity, right? Just purely scalps as of right now. I want to see this level here being broken and then pushed to the upside if I'm going to look for any buys. In between here, that's a lot of volatility, that's a lot of consolidation that I would not be comfortable taking a trade in.
Sharma.
So there's not much of a range here for us to trade.
Sharma.
Yeah.
And for that scalp, if the one that goes up for a buy, because there's no news, would you still wait for that break and retest?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to wait for a break and retest, because there is no news.
Okay.
That's why I'm not going to entertain any sort of impulsive move here. Alright, we're about to get the first 30-minute close of this London-New York overlap. Alright, we got a bearish close here, breaking the previous highs of the previous bullish candle. Kind of just respecting a little support area here, it seems like. So what I want to see is a candle closure above this, and then some sort of break and retest, and then continuation. So anytime, whether it's the 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, you guys have seen me do this on our previous simulation sessions as well. We're going to wait for candle closures. We're not going to take an entry on an open candle as it's breaking out of consolidation. Because a lot of the times, price will wick, just create a massive top wick rejection, and then come right back into the zone if it's not ready to move. Especially when you don't have fundamentals coming out, and it's the day before interest rates are about to come out. Any questions that you guys have here on YouTube that you want me to explain here? I hope everything makes sense so far, the entire analysis that we have done. And this is a 30-minute chart that we're on.
I can't remember if you already mentioned it earlier. Um, do you have any goals for trading for this new year? Since we're still,
Yeah.
what, second week of the new year?
My goals for trading are personal trading is just growing my account, but also increasing my portfolio a lot more. So I don't really scalp as much. I usually just look for scalps, turn them into swing trades, or even like just swing trade opportunities. So just swing trading a lot more, but growing my portfolio. As I've mentioned, I'm trying to grow my crypto portfolio as well and getting more into that. And then just overall goal here within Sharma FX or the industry or investing in general, even for real estate, is to help more people who are kind of just getting into investments in general, whether it's real estate or whether it's this. Just learn about the industry a bit more and get some more proper guidance, which we have been trying to do for like the past 2-3 years, especially with Stefanos and I doing like the secrets of trading. So just continuing that goal, try to help as many traders as possible in this industry and kind of help push them a bit more, encourage them a bit more. Um, yeah, I know a lot of beginner traders, they like get frustrated and then they end up quitting. So I want to make sure that I can help out as many people as possible in terms of that. And then same thing with like real estate. A lot of people are trying to get into real estate investing, so kind of showing the ropes in that space as well. Do you guys have any goals for the new year for your trading?
I'll let someone else go first.
I mean, I have a very big, lofty one,
Yeah.
but I definitely I'm on the same page as you, though. I want to diversify my portfolio in terms of the assets that I trade.
Mm-hmm.
I know I mainly been trading UJ for the last 1 to 2 years, which I've been very successful with. But I want to start trying to capitalize on US30 crypto. So I would say just being able to trade other currencies is uh is my goal, and continue to turn my scalps into swings.
Absolutely. We're gonna get you to that milestone too. It's 100% doable. We're gonna get there.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I can go next. So for me, I guess the most current one is not getting stuck in the wicks. So I
Mm-hmm.
keep getting stop loss there. Right now I'm full-time trading just because I guess I don't have a job right now. I'm between jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then so I guess adding on to my personal life for that is if I do find a job, trying to find something that's remote so I can continue trading because in the past I've let go of trading because then I only focus on like my actual job outside of this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying something new there.
I think we like another goal that we can all collectively work on, because I know a lot of people that have jobs and they're trading as well, is like not get like making trading work around your working schedule rather than like kind of doing the opposite. I know that's one thing that a lot of people are struggling with.
Yep,
So I think
that's
collectively
that's a
that's something
struggle
that we
for
can do.
me too. I think yeah, that's one of the things. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no worries,
Uh,
go for it.
yeah, and basically like during the Christmas holidays, I told you I was gonna look through the simulation session and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to work out a plan where I can balance out work life, which gets more and more stressful,
Yeah.
and trading, which I've been like yeah, over the years, like prior to joining Sharpen FX, I was more of like a scalper, and I've
Mm-hmm.
been burnt times. Then I kind of like starting, after joining the group, like with going through the mentorship and transitioning slowly to swing positions, and I feel like I want to transition more to that area because I think like that's a way where I can. I'm just trying to find a sweet spot where I can have a daytime job and I can trade, and I think swing trade works better off when you have a 9 to 5 job. It's
Yep.
very difficult, when you set up what do you call this, the invites that I want to join them so badly at
Yeah.
9 a.m. something in the morning, and I'm at work at a
Yep.
work call, and I'm like, it's not possible. But yeah, that's a big struggle.
I absolutely understand that, and it's not that only for people who have jobs, but it's also people who are basically trying to do something outside of trading, whether it's like having your own business. I know we have a few people. Chris, for example, he has like his own business. So, like making trading work around that. That's the whole point of trading, where you have like the time freedom. So then you shouldn't have to substitute your job for spending all day on the charts or having like some sort of FOMO. So we're gonna work out something this year. I'm gonna help you guys pretty much kind of figure out that as well a bit more. Um, I think that's another goal that we'll have in the group itself. All right,
Sounds good.
we got a nice break and retest here on the 15. Got a massive push up. The only reason why I didn't take that entry is because we were so close to this zone, so I wanted to see how price is gonna react into that zone here. And it seems like even on the 15-minute, massive bottom wick rejection, kind of just coming back into this area. This is currently New York Stock Exchange open at 6:30 PST, so that's 9:30 Eastern time. News-wise, we don't have anything else really coming out for the rest of the session. So what I'm gonna wait for here is to see how this candle closes. Now I would be more comfortable looking for trades above this area and then to the upside, just because we have a bigger range. Now what I need to see is a bullish close, or like this candle closes here, and then the next one kind of makes a little bit of a bottom wick. The only reason I'm not going to look for a trade on a candle, even if this candle flips bullish, for example, the reason why I wouldn't look for a trade on there is because I would use that bottom wick rejection to figure out where am I going to place my stop loss, and that's too big of a stop loss compared to an entry somewhere up top here. Any other goals that you have for this year, Shabir?
Yes, move up the corporate ladder. I
Yeah.
just got promoted, bro, man. That's too
Awesome.
ambitious.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I was gonna say, I know my goal next year is gonna be teaching my baby how to trade.
Oh, absolutely. I joke with my brother all the
Start
time.
her early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I joke with my brother all the time that as soon as his daughter gets a little bit older, she's gonna be on the
Yeah.
charts with me.
That's the number one thing me and my wife said. We want a really smart baby, so
Yeah.
crap. I'll let her do the trading for me.
Instead of vocab cards, you're gonna have naked candle, like
Yeah.
like the candlesticks. What is this?
That's
It's a
actually so
doji.
true. That's so smart. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
That'd be pretty cool though.
Yeah, why not? She starts going in school. So this is a doji candle. This is a reversal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be very exciting. I'm very excited for you and your wife.
Thank you, thank you. Anytime now.
Alright, we have a few more minutes until this 15 close. We did flip back up bullish. We're still gonna wait. Basically, this is a confirmation that we have good momentum here. I'm just gonna wait for the next candle to form, and hopefully we get a small bottom wick so then we can have a tighter stop loss. That's my risk management strategy. Another thing, as you guys are doing the simulation sessions, if you have any questions in terms of risk management, feel free to ask. I know there's a lot of us here who have different risk management strategies. For me, I like to keep a tighter stop loss because that forces me to take more quality entries instead of having 2 or 3 or 4 attempts. I limit myself to 2 attempts for that reason. So here, for example, I'm gonna wait for this 30 close. because now that that candle's going to break that high, again, a white stop loss, so I'd rather wait for the 30 close here, because this is the 30-minute candle that's grabbing that liquidity from that consolidation. So how do you guys know? I'll ask you another question. How do you know that this is a liquidity zone and price is exiting out of a liquidity zone? What are some indications of that?
I was gonna say a huge rejection in that area, just kind of like that 15 and 30 or 30-minute did would be one indicator.
Rejection, and then there's another keyword. It starts with a V.
Volume.
Yep.
Yes.
There's always going to be volume and prices exiting out of that consolidation area. And for example,
Wow.
here, that was a ton of volume to the upside that we came back and tapped into another minor consolidation, but we were exiting out of this. So that tells you that this was a liquidity area that price is exiting now. So I'm going to skip here on the 15 just so we can get the new hourly candle, new 30-minute candle, new 15-minute candle forming. So again, closed bullish. If this candle can break these highs, that is where I would be willing to take an entry. Alright, so we are breaking the highs. This is where I'm going to take an entry. I'm going to come in with... Is there anyone else who's going to take an entry here with me? Because the max we're going to do is 3% on here, so I'll keep my entry to 1% if anyone else is willing to take an entry here.
Sure, I'll take 1%.
Alright. Cool. I'm going to keep mine to this. I'm going to place my stop loss right underneath the current 15-minute candle. Basically also this little consolidation area here as well. Come on to the 30-minute time frame. Same thing right underneath the current 30-minute candle, bottom wick, and then the current 1 hour as well. And then, or actually let's bring that up a bit more.
For TP, why wouldn't you target a little bit higher than that?
I will. I'm going to adjust it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to try to
I was
keep this. Yeah,
I was
go ahead.
actually gonna ask to see what the daily is saying as well.
Daily's pushing up bullish.
Okay.
So instead, what I'm going to do, I want to keep it as tight as possible. So I'm going to take an entry on the current candle, but I'm going to see how much it's going to push or if it retraces back down a little bit. Ideally, I want to keep my stop loss here. If not, depending on the volume, I might keep it a little bit tighter, just right into that consolidation area here. I'm going to give it just a couple of more seconds to see if we actually retrace back down a bit more. Let's say somewhere around here, because we've already broken the high, so no reason for price to come back down any deeper than that. Okay, so that would give me ideally the stop loss that I would want depending on that entry. And then as of right now, that is the TP that I'm going to keep, but I will adjust that as well. But as of right now, I want to target this area, and then as we get closer to it, potentially take profits or take partials, and then move my TP even a little bit higher there. What's the furthest that I can go? Let's say right around here. Let's keep it at that. Shabir, do you want to take an entry right now, or do you want to wait a little bit?
Yeah, I'll take an entry, but my stop loss slightly lower than yours, like under that wick.
Okay. Oh, it's not gonna let you. I think the
Oh,
lowest. Yeah, it'll be right here. Lowest.
all right, okay, fine.
Okay.
That's
And then your TP.
yeah, right where you have yours.
Okay. So now on this account we have 2% running, and let's pretty much see how price rolls here. So as price gets closer to this area, this is where I would take some partials. So average on my trades, I usually risk around 2% anyway, so this would be the 2%. The max I would do is 3%, and that's when I'm like the most confident in that setup. So like a break and retest on a entry like this would be like a 3%, but I rarely ever do that. It's only ever like 2% for the most part. Alright, we're kind of in this area. I'm going to pause it real quick. Alright, we can't really take partials. It's a one set lot, but I'm going to let it run then at this point. Bootcamp prelims, no. So we're just doing a weekly simulation session, bringing that back. But bootcamp is gonna be tomorrow, and you guys should all have like the link for it and everything. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST for that. But we're starting a series for the weekly simulation sessions here. Basically trying to grow an account together, so that's what we're gonna work on. So we're pretty much right in the middle of New York and London overlap for the next hour, 2 hours. And realistically, like, we would probably be on the charts for another 30 minutes or so. So price is still fluctuating. And the most I give myself is 2 attempts. So if this trade goes, then that would be my only attempt for the day. If price, pulls back, hits stop loss, then I would give it like 1 other attempt. But 2 attempts a day, and that's it. And then I would come back the following day on the charts. And I'll save the simulation for the following week as well when we do the simulation session. So it hits the stop loss on that 2% risk that we had. We've lost almost 2% of what we had risk, so not too much either here. So what we're going to do is give it another attempt. For that other attempt, same thing, we're going to wait for a proper entry. We're going to wait for, same thing, bottom wick rejection, try to see if it's going to break the highs and things like that. And looking at the current candles, we still have a pretty good range that we can scalp to come up here, but looking at the current or the previous 15-minute, that's a huge top wick rejection that price has to come up and break. So as of right now, what I'm going to do is try to see if there's going to be a better entry point in the next, let's say, 30 minutes or so before, we would normally call it a day on the charts. So we come back into these previous consolidation areas and we start to see a little bit of slowdown, but price comes all the way down here, respecting previous 15-minute low. And it seems like we're still here with some good bullish volume. So nothing has really changed here in terms of structure, in terms of bias. We're just going to look for a better entry with a tighter stop loss. So in the markets, it would be, let's say, up until 8 o'clock. That's the max that I would stay on the charts for, given, today with pretty good volume. But other than that, I would pretty much call it a day, and then whatever happens for the rest of the session, even if there's like good push or anything like that, I would call it a session, come back the following day, and take a look at what's going on. So we already know that we're not going to take an entry on this 15. You got a nice top wick rejection. That still tells me, we're breaking highs. That still tells me that we have good bullish volume to the upside. But we still have pretty big ranges to break before we look for an entry. So now the next thing that I would do is wait for another, pretty much price breaking the highs, another bottom wick rejection or so, or wait for some sort of like break and retest and then look for an entry there. On the daily time frame, we are breaking the previous highs. We are pushing up bullish. We do have pretty good volume here. 4-hour time frame, same thing. It broke the lows. You got that massive bottom wick rejection, and then look at that volume to the upside. Another indication that price is exiting out of an area of liquidity, or that, at this point it has. And then 30-minute, 1 hour, same thing. You have pretty good volume to the upside here. So let's do next. What I'm looking for is a break and retest here particularly. So by this time, realistically, I would be off the charts. So then we can call it a session at this point. So what we'd say is that today we just had a loss for a negative 1.91%, and then we would come back the following day for, for a new trades, kind of do our entire analysis again. And then at this point, even when I do come back, as long as price can maintain above this level based off of daily time frame, weekly time frame, we would just look for another break and retest and then a continuation up. Tomorrow, though, it is FOMC news that's coming out, interest rates, and so for that reason, we would entertain some sort of impulsive moves. So instead of trading right at, for example, New York Stock Exchange open, we would come back and we would actually trade when the interest rates are released, which is 11 a.m. PST, which I believe is 2 p.m. Eastern time. So that's what we would be trading in our next simulation session going into next week on Friday. So I'm going to try to keep this series as realistic as possible. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to just drop them in the comments or in the chat. And then again here on Zoom, same thing. Just unmute and you can ask or drop it in the chat as well. So realistically, what we would do is today we would just take that loss that we had at a negative 1.91%, and then come back the following day and then look at the charts once again. So once again, if you had just started joining our simulation sessions, what we're doing is like this series basically where we start off with a $1,000 account, and we're going to try to grow this account as much as possible. I'm going to save the simulation session, so we're just going to keep continuing the simulation session day by day. And then through this, the goal is to kind of show you guys the entire thought process that I have in the life markets, how I'm managing my trades, my entire technical analysis, fundamental analysis, risk management, all that stuff. And if you have questions along the way, just like I said, feel free to ask. But that would pretty much be it for today's session, and I will see you guys for the bootcamp tomorrow for all of you who are joining. And then for the simulation session, same time next week on Friday, 4:30 p.m. PST. And right now we're ending it off on Tuesday, March 19th. So we're going to pick back up on Wednesday, March 20th, which would be the following day. So we're just going to keep that going from there. All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.